Today we are going to learn about Angular. So before learning Angular, let's understand the approach of traditional application. So normally a traditional application, when you open a page in a browser, whenever we talk about client, it is about the browser. So when we are open a page and if we need to navigate to another page, so we are requesting server to get the response of the second page. So we are additionally making a call to the server to get the second page. But in a single page application, we are loading the page once, and whenever we navigate to another page, without reloading the page, we get the response from the server. Let's see how that is working in a real world. So if you see a traditional application like Bootstrap application, if you go to Bootstrap, I click on this side and right click and inspect, click on the network tab, and here let's first reload the page. You'll see getbootstrap.com is a page, right? Now if I navigate to another section, let's say I go to the examples, right? So whenever I go to the examples, it's a different page. So what is happening? I'm getting a different call. So examples is a different URL. So you can see that there are two calls happen. If even if I'm going to sidebars, it is going to make another request to the server. But let's see the same example in a single page. So for that, you can go to the Angular website, click on Angular. Let's clear this one. Click on Angular site. So now you can see it's Angular dot pen Angular IO start. Now if so let's see, if I refresh, the first page is angular.io slash start. So this is my first page. Now if I'm going to another page, which is the documentation, you can see the URL is changing, but the call is not happening to the server. Even if I go to the resources, you can see the page is changing, but there is no call. So this is how a single page application will work. So what is Angular? Angular is a client-side framework. In Angular, we use TypeScript to create a web application. So we are going to see in the upcoming videos how to write the TypeScript files. And Angular, we use component structure. So today, we will learn also how to create a component in the Angular. And what is TypeScript? So TypeScript is basically a superset of JavaScript with more features like classes, interfaces, and objects. So if you remember Java uses OOPS concepts. So similarly, in the TypeScript, we will be following the OOPS structure. And why we are using TypeScript here? It helps in writing robust code, which means it checks the code while we are writing, okay, not when we run it. So how does TypeScript compiles, how does TypeScript execute in the browser? So normally browser can only understand the type with the JavaScript, right? So if you write a TypeScript file, browser does not understand. So what happens internally, we have the command line interface, which is called CLI, that will take care of the responsibility to compile TypeScript file into the JavaScript. And why we need to learn Angular? Angular is cross-platform, which means you can, once you design the application, you can use it in mobile or desktop, any devices you can use it. Next is Angular follows MVC, Model View Controller. We will see once we create any service, we will be seeing this example. And it is a SPA, which is a single page application, and it is speed and performance. So whenever of course, if you have compared traditional application and the single page application, it is very fast because you are not making a server call and waiting for the server to respond. And we also see some data binding concepts in the real time. We will see this in the upcoming videos. And it is very simple. We just follow the component, and we need to understand some modules that we are going to learn soon. And what is the history of Angular, right? So Angular initially it started with Angular JS, and then now we have different versions. So in the upcoming videos, we'll be seeing more about Angular 13. We'll be using Angular 13 in the training sessions. And which company is using Angular? So Angular is used by so many organizations like Microsoft, McDonald's, UPS, etc. So if you need to learn Angular, let's understand the building blocks of Angular. So if you are attending any interview, or if you are writing a project, you always need to remember these major concepts like modules, components, templates, metadata, directives, data binding, services, and dependency injection. So now what is the module, right? So module is a mechanism to group components, directive, and pipes and services. Okay. So let's say if I'm going to uh, create a bank project. Okay, I'm going to create a bank project, and first I'll create a mortgage as a house loan module. Okay, I'm going to create some house loan module. So generally, house module, what I need to do, I need to create a components, right? Let's say if I'm creating a component that will check for the residential address. Is it a apartment, or is it a individual house, or is it a complex residential, etc., right? So this component I cannot use in my student loan, right? So if I'm applying for student loan, for a student loan we need to have a different component, right? I need to have a different component, different services. So what I'm going to do, if I'm creating a bank project, all house loan related components or directives and the REST APIs, we are going to use it in a house module. Okay, and if I'm going to create a student loan module, I'll keep all my students component, directives, services, everything in a different module. So all files are declared inside a module, okay, that we are going to see right now. So Angular app contains at least one Angular module, that is called root module. We are going to see that root module in our example. So we'll create one component, and that component we will configure in the module, that is the app root module.